everyone, and welcome to another episode of Loud Pigment, our youth-led podcast brought to you by FBYC Creative Action for Conservation. And today we're talking to Sarah, who is a 2023 Future Youth Council member, and that's how we met. And she's going to be talking about her experience as a college student, an ambitious person, and someone who's interested in environmental conservation. And Sarah is majoring in molecular biology at the University of Tampa with the sustainability minor. Hi, Sarah. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good, Malika. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. It's so exciting to see you again. And yes, Sarah's passionate about biotechnology and endangered species conservation. And I feel like it matches kind of this picture that you chose today, matches her interests as well. So, as always, our speaker chooses the picture that they like the most from our Bauxite gallery. So, this one was painted by Victoria Huang. And I feel like it just captures the ocean's beauty so well. And Sarah, what made you choose this picture?
I think I chose this picture because of the sea turtles. Sea turtles are like one of my favorite animals, marine animals, and they kind of started my journey too with environmental activism. I really got into environmental activism more through my aquarium with sea turtle conservation and creating more awareness in my community about plastic pollution. So this piece really spoke to me with like its bright colors and its like positive energy that it has. So I chose this one because of mainly the sea turtles, but overall, it's just a gorgeous piece.
Yeah, incredibly. Yeah, I love the turtles. They seem so like magical, but also very realistic. So yeah, amazing. Yeah, let's just start with the questions. What is one book, podcast, or media piece that lives in your mind rent-free for now?
I'm listening to a lot of music right now, and my music taste definitely shifts every day. I feel like I'm listening to something every day. I'm not a big podcast listener. I only listen to podcasts that I'm like really engaged in, and right now I don't have one of those except for this one. I'm definitely interested in this one because you have just amazing like speakers that will come. But I think that the piece that is rent-free in my mind right now would definitely be The Secret Garden classic.
Mm.
I love that book because it just has like a very positive message of like personal growth through like connectedness with like other people and through nature specifically. And I think The Secret Garden is just like one of those classic books that always sticks in my head about how powerful nature is with like connecting people and helping them grow as a person. Really healing energy that nature has.
Oh, perfect. I'm gonna add that to my like reading list. Okay, thanks for sharing that. And yeah, I feel like you like animals so much. So, what is your favorite water animal and why?
I think my favorite water animal would have to be a sea turtle. Like I mentioned before, they kind of kickstarted my environmental journey. I also go to Melbourne, Florida, here on the beach or Vero Beach to see the sea turtles hatch. I try to go every summer, and it's just such like an impactful experience, like seeing them just make their way into the ocean, and it just brings me like full circle into wow, this is like a start of like a new life of this sea turtle, and they're going to get to see the amazing like underwater world that is like the ocean, and we're going to be able to like help them like preserve their species like going forward. And like as an endangered species that they are, it's very important in my mind to like advocate for their conservation. So seeing like that experience like in real life and in person at like a beach and going to see that really like helps me understand how important it is and like fuels my energy to try to like advocate for them essentially. So I love them so much.
Oh, that was so perfectly said. Yeah, you can definitely see like how passionate you are. Yeah, amazing. Um, yeah, and I feel like what you are interested in really impacted like what you study. So, what do you study exactly, and what led you to choose this major?
I'm a biology major at the University of Tampa. So in biology, I specifically have a concentration in molecular biology, and I am on the pre-veterinary track. So I want to go and join like conservation vet med specifically, which like merges essentially wildlife vet med with like ecology and getting like on the ground and trying to like also contribute to conservation initiatives and environmental initiatives while doing like surgery and while like administering medical care to like wild animals. So like biology major at the University of Tampa, I feel like supports like my overall goal of being a vet because I'm getting like that background experience that I have to get in biology, but also like molecular biology is something that I've been passionate about since I was a kid because I just love cells and like the inner workings of the body. I think it's really like interesting to know. And also like how like the environmental impacts and like the environment that we're in impacts our health. I think that's important to know. So I think biology like overall just helps like my curiosity with the natural world and like understanding it better so then I can help out in my own way. And like that way for me as veterinary med, I really want to like enter that field. And I also have a minor in sustainability because I just love learning about like environmental studies. I just came off a course called Rivers and Mountains. It was all about like not only how mountains are formed and their orogeny, but also like their cultural importance. So like just understanding like these different pieces of like the world in general helped me like to grow as a person, I feel like. So biology was something that I was interested in from the get-go, from like science fairs, and doing things like that. And then when I was in college, I was like, well, I think that that like pretty much matches up pretty well with what I still want to do in life. So it's like, well, let's just go in and see what happens. And I added my sustainability minor and I couldn't be happier how I like merged them together. So it's really, really great to be like a multidisciplinary like student because it like gives you a better, like bigger picture of like how the world functions.
Wow, yeah, exactly. I feel like that's a perfect merge. Yeah. And you did mention kind of participating in science fairs and just having a lot of things going on. So, what are some extracurricular projects that you are involved in college?
Well, I am the president of Tri Beta, which is a biological honor society here. It's a Sigma Nu chapter. I'm very passionate about it. And there we are eligible for biology majors to come in, for marine bio majors to come in. So it's just a great community of biology students who are like taking part in research and like understanding each other better that way. We do a lot of creative events together as well. So biology in general is just very multifaceted. So I love that I'm part of an honor society that is very connected to like all parts of biology. I'm also the president of ASBMB, which is the American Society for Biochemistry and Molecular Biology. So that's like my major comes in, but just another form of bio and connecting with those students. I love that. We just came from a conference. It's called the annual meeting, ASBMB in Washington, D.C. And that was great. Got to see all sorts of research, even talking about how plants are adapting to climate change and like everything from that to like cancer biology. And it just is really multifaceted. And that's what I love. I love a little bit of everything. I'm not like one way, one science. It's just all of it. Also, I'm a pre-vet chair for Skull and Bones, which is what we call our pre-health club here at University of Tampa. And I'm in a sorority as well, Zeta Tau Alpha. And I love those girls. I love being director of membership enrichment. Basically, I plan fun events, and usually it's crafting or it's going on a walk because I feel like we all need to de-stress after of like the long school days, at least I do. So we go
Sure.
take like sunset walks. Yeah, it's great. But those are a couple of things that I'm doing. This summer, I'm taking part in some undergraduate research. I just came off of taking parasitology here at the University of Tampa, and I knew basically nothing about parasites. I was like, I need to learn about this because I want to be a vet. I'm like, that seems pretty interesting. So yeah, I'm doing research about this parasite in cats to see if I can correlate that with like high cortisol levels, so like stress and like behavior in cats. And that's something that I'm like really looking forward to. I also volunteer at the zoo in my free time at the summer, like now, very excited. Just like education, so I'm in guest engagement. I'm a guest engagement ambassador, so I basically have a flexible schedule to come in and talk about biofacts and like endangered species like Florida panther that are at Zoo Tampa. So those are a few activities that I really love.
Wow, if you, it was a whole list.
I like to keep involved for sure.
Yeah. Wow, and you have so much going on. What like time management advice would you give to all the ambitious people out there?
Calendars. I have three different calendars with like reminders on them. I have to like shuffle my schedule around sometimes, but it's worth it making time for things that I'm passionate about. I would just say planning, just planning out far in advance, putting reminders into like your phone, into your computer, and understanding also that you need some time for yourself. You definitely need some recharge time, some like time to reconnect with nature, schedule in like an hour for like sketching, painting,
Mhm.
something that like helps you like relax. But yeah, definitely just stress management and like understanding that you do have to take a little bit of a break. But then when you're not taking a break, trying to schedule things out like far in advance so you know what you have on your schedule every week, and you don't miss anything because things come up pretty fast and time flies.
For sure. You did mention painting, so is it something that you do in your free time? What exactly do you paint? Can you share?
Yeah, so I love like painting on canvas, but I am part of the pottery club. I like to go to the pottery club when we do have meetings at my school. So I'll paint like pieces of pottery or I'll get out a canvas during like the summer. Like now, I definitely want to start like painting a flower vase. I love flowers in my house. So I paint pretty much everything, anything. I love painting with pastels, and acrylic is my paint of choice. So nothing too elaborate, but just like engaging with color and trying to paint some things that will like relax me. Like a flower vase is something that I would love to be doing over the summer. So yeah, pots for like succulents. I love flowers and like plants so much. That's like my gardening hobby too. So that yeah.
Yeah, and connecting to kind of this creative aspect of your life, so painting. I feel like it also kind of I can relate to that because creativity is also something that like helps me to recharge after like a whole like big kind of college day. And yeah, would you say that being a council member, so we were in the same council, help you as a college student?
I feel like it helped in a lot of ways. I loved how like Bausi understands the importance of nature with like creative action and like the messaging that nature can hold. So I feel like I really learned messaging from Bausi and like taking art and understanding it through like a lens of, I don't want to say academia, but a lens of like awareness almost and being like, wow, what can we learn from here? You know, what are we picking up? Like, why are we using these colors? So I feel like Bausi really like grew my appreciation for art and activism, and also like gave me more skills for communication with like other audiences because I feel like we were reaching out to a lot of different people at a lot of different times, like a global perspective. I was like, wow, like how are we going to like understand these audiences and like better like frame our messages and be like, wow, okay, so we have these different media, like which one speaks to you the most? So I feel like Bausi like opened my perspective that way. I also loved like getting kind of hands-on almost as much as you can digitally, like across the globe, you know, with the grantees. Like I think that was like something that I really loved. And like the mentorship aspect of Bausi.
Mm-hmm.
And like how are you like engaging with art? Like what are you using that is helping your message? Like I think that's a really like important thing that Bausi does.
I agree 100%. Yeah, I feel like Baus is the best. And you did say that mentorship was like your one of your favorite aspects of being a council member. Um, yeah, so would you say that was your favorite memory, or is there something else that you like remember and you smile when you look back?
I loved all like the mentorship for sure. But my favorite has to be speaking at the UN Science Summit.
Oh
I
yeah.
think that was so fun. Yeah, I think it was environmentalism, but like talking about the humanities, right?
Right.
And we were trying
Yeah.
to intersect that. And I think that that was like a really cool experience. I was like, wow, we're speaking at the UN through Zoom. So yeah, that was probably like the biggest one. And I don't know, I just feel like I grew a lot during that time, like throughout 2023. It was just a lot of personal growth and I loved like connecting with you all and like getting to know your stories because I feel like we had such like different personalities, but they all like they joined very well together and it was cool seeing like the diversity. So I think like the UN experience was my favorite for sure because it was unique.
Yeah, it was for sure. And there was so many people, like pretty much almost the whole council was speaking at that event. So yeah, that was also one of my favorite memories. What role did art play in kind of you becoming this environmental leader?
I think art plays a role for me. I mentioned like stress management and like unwinding, but I think art in general helped me broaden how I message things. I'm more aware of using like graphic design for things. Like even in the clubs that I'm a part of and like organizations, I talk to like social media about like what colors are we going to use? Like
Yeah.
what art are we going to incorporate? Because I feel like art just is really good for the soul, and more people need to engage with art in different ways. Because you can engage with art in other ways other than like a gallery. We have a gallery here. It's amazing. I love to see art on a wall, but I also love to see like art in action. And
Mhm.
like I feel like creating like online through digital media, but also like physical pieces is really important. So like when I started with art in like activism, for example, it was like reconstructing, like upcycling through plastics. So I would cut up like pieces of plastic bottle, like I would make ribbons with plastic bags and like trying to like repurpose all this like single-use plastic. And I made like a wreath. I made like a sea turtle out of plastic, and it was just like upcycling. So I think that taking that and being like, wow, we can do like other messaging and like other forms of art through that was something that Bausi like strengthened in me. And also like how I got introduced to Bausi was a submission of a song. So I submitted a parody, and that was my ocean awareness contest submission that made me eligible for the council. So singing about like awareness and like it's like, wow, I could just do an art piece. And I did submit other art pieces, but I was like, I think singing is like another form of creativity that can be cool. Like in seeing like all the poems that come in like through Bausi. So there's like a lot of different ways to go about it. But overall, like Bausi really appreciated the unique nature of each piece that came in, I feel like. And like understanding that everybody's unique and has like a different story to tell. And that was something that was like strengthened in me, is understanding that you can use different media in different ways with different messages and doesn't have to just be one focus. You can have like multiple pieces of a story come together into this one like creative project that you're working on. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that was amazingly said. I agree with that because I feel like what I like about Bauhaus is as well, just having this very diverse choice of mediums that you can choose from, and like you can participate in all of them, and it's yeah, an amazing opportunity. And kind of considering the Bausi Ocean Awareness Council and also the Future Belief Council, what is one advice that you would give to all the beginners or people who are interested in environmental conservation, specifically like they want to engage themselves in art, but they don't know where to start? What advice would you give them?
I think trying different pieces in different like mediums is really important. Sometimes you think you want to go in with a poem, but maybe you actually want to go in with a painting and you had no idea that you were good at painting, and you don't have to be good. You just have to be you. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what I think is important to know, that it may not turn out the first time. You may go through like multiple rounds or like multiple like versions of a project until you get something that you feel passionate about and connected to. But I feel like the biggest advice I would say is find something that you're passionate about first, that you know is something that you will be interested in. And take that and learn all that you can about it. Like go on the internet, find books, find other pieces of art that may inspire you, and get like a real sense of it. And then go ahead and use your creativity to make your own piece and be open to those different mediums that you can work with, because you can tell a story many ways. It's just how are you going to do it? I had this professor and he was like, well, you can come up here and do your presentation through a PowerPoint, or you can do an interpretive dance, or you could sing about it, or you could paint about it. So and he was a really fun guy. But my point is that you can take something that you're passionate about and put it into any form that you want. And that's what art is. Art is expression. Choose colors that speak to you. So just different ways to tell a story, and like understanding that there are other ways that people have used before, and maybe those inspire you now. So definitely like going into the gallery for Bausi and like seeing what's there and being like, wow, that's kind of cool. Maybe I want to do something like that. So just being open. And for like creative activism in general, just never stop. Just never stop. Like just keep learning and keep connecting with other people, because you're going to grow so much like as you do develop into like talking about environmentalism or sustainability. Like who I was when I was 17 when I was starting this is not who I am now. And it
Yeah.
was not who I was on the council either. You just keep evolving. So just be like open to new experiences, take all that you can, understand that you are a unique individual that has like different interests, and your interests aren't going to be somebody else's interests. But they may intersect, and you may learn so much about that other person that it inspires you to create your own piece. Yeah, I feel like just being open, learning, and taking inspiration, but also understanding that you could be inspiration to someone else. Like you could submit a piece and then you could see like a full circle moment of somebody being inspired by your piece. And I think that's so cool. So yeah, just always being involved because you never know how much you're really going to grow.
Wow, this was such an inspirational kind of speech for everyone out there, regardless of their age or area of interest. It just applies to everything. It's such, yeah, it was amazingly said. Thank you, Sarah.
Of
And yeah,
course.
thank you so much for being a part of this episode. I feel like it was such an amazing kind of informal conversation that had so much kind of like insight to being an environmental leader and also just being an ambitious college student, which you are. So thank you so much again for being with us.
Thank you so much. It was awesome.
Goodbye.